Welcome back. Tyler and I just completed the NBA rundown, but now we're here talking touchdowns with our guy, Titletown. And boy, we got a victory lap this one more time, Title, because last week we came on the show and we don't do the full showdown breakdown, right? But every week we say, Title, give us a captain. You gave us Mr. Kenyon Drake, and my guy in the middle, Tyler, took that pick and rode it to a 30K win. How excited were you to see that you were able to help, a great young kid with plenty of potential hit the winner board? How did you feel, Title, when you saw that your captain headline here for Tyler?
You're giving me too much credit, Spread. That was Tyler himself.
That was my captain, Spread. I called
that. we were talking a little Kenny and Drake. I mean, but I think Tyler was the first one to even bring up the name. He was overpriced at 7.2. People were on the Lamar on the different script. He was overpriced, but he was getting all the work. I mean, I said he's looked good with the eye test all year. I thought that. We thought he was getting 70+% of the carries. But Tyler was the one that brought up the captain for sure. And he might even have brought up a Kenny and Drake play at first. And, man, he ran with it. He got everything else right. Just the stones by Tyler. So, I mean, I was so happy to see that screenshot. What was it, $120, $110 into 30 grand? Awesome stuff, man. So that's all Tyler gets those props.
All right. Well, we're not gonna let you get away that easy. You know, you're here with us every week. You're helping us find the best ways to attack these showdown slates. And while it might not be the in-depth that you get at the 3 p.m. Eastern show, I feel like it's a great start to the week. So Tyler and I appreciate it. I know Tyler's bank's gonna appreciate it when that check
definitely hits, gonna appreciate it.
Yeah, Tyler. But now the pressure's on. We got to do it again. But the good thing is we get a little while, because this is one of my favorite things to do this week. One of my favorite things, Uncle T. He was a little mad. I said it was my absolute favorite thing. But one of my favorite things to do every week, and that's review what we saw yesterday before we get into that. And we're going to start. This one kicked off at 6:30 a.m. for me, and I was up early. And Tyler told me, don't bet this game, Spread. Don't bet this game. But I couldn't do it. I took the Seahawks, and they came up short. And we were talking right before we went on, Tyler, and I said, hey, I'm not going to downgrade the Seattle Seahawks for this. They came out flat. They had that one red zone fumble with Geno that I think really hurt the team. They came up short, but I don't want to downgrade them off that performance. I can be talked into upgrading this Tampa team, especially in a real weak NFC South. They know that they just got to get into the playoffs, and then anything can happen when you have Brady under center. So start with you, Tyler. Were you up early? Did you watch the game, and what did you see?
To be honest, Fred, I literally forgot this game was on until I was listening to the Morning Wood show, and then they mentioned it. So I didn't catch much of it until then. I turned it on. Tampa was already up 14-0. Watching it, they had the run game going big time, which they needed to get going for this offense. That's just going to open up for these receivers. It's going to make their offense a lot more lethal. And then the defense picked up a little bit, even with the missing bodies that they're not going to get back in Shaquille Barrett. So, I mean, yeah, we're definitely going to upgrade this team in the power rankings, and I don't think we do much to Seattle. So, with them coming in flat, I think it was more of just the jet lag and the time difference. I mean, what was it? We looked over it before. It was 13-hour difference, which I know it's a big difference for Tampa, but they're also on the other side of the United States a bit closer. So, not much of a difference, but it's a slight difference. And Tampa just got the job done. So not much from here, just slight upgrade to Tampa.
Title, were the two girls in your bed pissed when you got up at 6:30 in the morning to start watching this game?
Sunday mornings for church and in the sauna, Spread. Or so I don't watch any of the games. My Sunday mornings are very busy. Watched the fights, stayed up very late on Saturday, got up very early Sunday. Church, sauna, that's the priority over Germany football or whatever it may be. So I didn't watch a second of it.
All right, and that's fine because, like I said, I don't really take away much from the game because of the weird conditions, but it is good to see the NFL move the product. And the fans in the arena did seem pretty excited to see Tom Brady get the win.
I seen your MMA playbook did pretty good on Saturday, too. I was in that big contest. I seen what you finished, 12th? I was the top.
I was sitting in like 5th, and then that Pereira bumped me a little bit. So, yeah, but MMA was close. It was a close one, so. That was better than Free Money Sunday yesterday. I'll tell you that for free.
And then they switched the rules on you right before we went on the air, huh?
That's what DC. I was responding to DC's Twitter. People are texting me. It's nuts out there. So yeah,
of course Travis is gonna love that, right? Because he loves to swap every 5 minutes, right?
I literally get out of the sound and check the gym. My phone's blowing up. I see Mangone text me. He's like, I might be in the MMA streets. I'm like, what just happened? And it was the late swap and all that. So yeah, he's definitely excited.
All right. Well, we're going to get into some of these games, and I assume that you were able to get home in time for this one, Title. And we talked about it on the show on Friday, Tyler. I said, man, a lot of these dogs are too short this week because dogs have been cashing at like 57, 58%. And as much as, the public money will run up the favorites with their $20 bets, they're getting hammered by the 4K and the 5K guys on these underdogs. So I think the prices reflected that this week. And these were way too short. This is one of our biggest edges of the year here with the Miami Dolphins. I had it at 7. It was 3.5. The market loved the Browns. I didn't get it. And I just felt like everything that we talked about on Friday played out on the screen as the Dolphins put up 39 points, one of their best offensive performances of the season, in a win over the 3-6 Browns. Obviously, we know Miami's great, but like I told Mangone on Wednesday, so what are you going to do? You want to show up to the power rating meeting that Tyler and I have and tell us that we should upgrade the Dolphins after they beat the Browns? I'm not ready to do that, but boy, this Cleveland team had a lot of hope going into the season. They're looking pretty rough now at 3-6. Tyler, we'll start with you. What do we make with the Browns and that poor performance?
I mean, you can't really downgrade them, I'd say, because they're just pretty much where we always thought they would be without Deshaun Watson. They're starting a backup quarterback. They got a ton of injuries still in that secondary. Mm-hmm. So they're just like a middle of the pack team right now. They're not terrible. They're not good. They're just right in the middle. So, but as for Miami, definitely think we got to upgrade them, spread. I mean, they definitely got to come up a little bit. I think they're in that top 5 category. The run game looks great now with Jeff Wilson there, and they're using him and Mostert, just switching them on and off. You've seen that going. The wide receivers are always going to be there. They're getting the third guy more involved, Sherfield, so that's a good thing to see. And the defense has been great all year, very quietly. So this team is going to be a problem. They're still plus 240 to win their division, and they have the lead now. They also have the division win lead because the Buffalo Bills lost to them and the Jets. So even if Buffalo beats them in their next matchup, they still hold that as long as they don't lose another game. So I don't mind taking them at plus 240 to win that division. And then Tua, I'm kicking myself for this one, spread, because we bet it the last 2 years preseason. He didn't have a chance, and now he's down to plus 550 to win the MVP. You look at the guys in front of him. Yeah, it's Mahomes who could just run away with it. Jalen Hurts is still there, but I think he kind of slows down towards the season ends. Josh Allen, I'm not worried about anymore with a UCL injury. I know he looked good, but that wasn't our normal Josh Allen game on Sunday. And then Tua at plus 550. I think he's got the best shot in the
He's not even the MVP on the team. I've been sitting here quiet. There's no way. Tyreek Hill is everything to that team.
I mean, yeah, I agree. But Cooper Kupp was everything to Matthew Stafford, too, and he ended up pretty high in those odds at the end of the year, too. He didn't win it, but he was up there.
All right.
In a weird year like this, if Miami gets the 1 seed, Tua could win it. It's also the great story. He comes back from the hip injury, then the concussions, wins the MVP.
If he wins the MVP, that's an absolute joke because Tyreek Hill is the MVP of that team.
He'll get Offensive Player of the Year.
Title. Who's
he wasn't MVP? My MVP. He wasn't an MVP with a snowflake in my lineup yesterday. I'll tell you that for free.
Did you have eyes on this game, and what do you think about Tyler and I's talk about what we're doing with these teams in the rankings?
Yeah, I mean, I had eyes on it for a little bit till the Miami just ran away with the game. As far as the Browns, I mean, yeah, Deshaun's practicing today? Isn't this the week that he can come back?
He comes back next. He might be able to practice this week, but he can't. I think today. Week 12.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think I saw he could practice today, but I mean, it might be a little too late for them. They obviously Cleveland. Brissett is not leading your team playing all season, and you're not going to make the playoffs that way. As far as Miami. Yeah, I mean, they just keep getting the job done. And Jeffrey Wilson, as Tyler mentioned, Mostert look good on the ground as well. But dang, Jeffrey Wilson, the 1-2 punch they have there, they can run the football, establish it that way, bleed clock when they're ahead, waddle Tyreek, get them the ball, they'll just take off. It's a scary team for sure. Well coached. Yeah. Now, do I think they beat the Chiefs, the Bills of the world? I'm not saying that yet. But, yeah, I mean, absolutely routed this Cleveland Browns team. You said they were the dog. I don't really bet sides on football too much.
No. I was saying they laid 3.5, and I had this game at 7. And I was saying because the dogs keep winning, I felt that a lot of the favorites were reduced in price this week because we had edges on a bunch of favorites, and usually that just sets up for disaster but most of them came home, including this one, the Tennessee Titans that are now 6-3. They were laying 2.5, 3. We're out on the Broncos. The Broncos have gone under every single game this season except for one, and their total under, like the amount that they've gone under, if you count it all up to the totals in their games, I mean, it's the highest in the league. So this team continues to play good defense, and the offense is absolutely inept. I don't know, Title, are we just beating a dead horse in the ground now by just clowning on the Broncos anymore? But let's go ahead and give the Titans their props here. Tough team, may not be great for DFS, but they're going to be a tough team when these playoffs rolls around. What are your thoughts here, or do we just want to move on?
The Broncos are cheeks, so anyone should be able to beat this team. I mean, what is going on in Denver? Get Hackett out of there. Get them back. No, I don't need to get them back at Rodgers. Those two can have a retirement party together or something. But, I mean, come on. These Broncos are so bad. As far as the Titans, I don't know. You beat the Broncos by 7 in a close game. I'm not too impressed with that win either.
Well, the Titans aren't going to put up a lot of points, but they're going to stay close in a lot of games. What do you think, Tyler?
They're going to be a great regular season team spread, and then they'll lose in the first round of the playoffs. That'll be the Titans. It's just the way they're built. Like, they're not built.
You mean having a crappy quarterback?
Yeah,
that's the issue.
It means you're down 7 and you need a drive, and you ain't getting a drive.
You have to be ahead the whole game. You have to be ahead the whole game.
Yeah, and then Title summed up Denver. I mean, they suck. Jerry Jeudy's ankle was being held together by silly putty. He ran. It just popped. So there's that. And then Rush is just whipping the ball down the field and seeing who can catch it, the other team or his guy. So
we might not even talk about Denver on the show.
Yeah, Denver might.
This might be the last time we talk about
this. Dead now, so.
Yeah, they're absolutely terrible.
All right. You want to know the funny thing is? There's a guy on Denver that was like 85% owned in cash games too.
Dolchich.
Who's that?
Yeah, Dolchich.
Oh yeah, they love him. They love him on
for a wide
shows.
open touchdown. I will say that.
Yeah.
So, all right, the Lions got the win over the Bears. Did the Bears kicker miss the extra point after Fields drove him all the way down the field? I'm feeling bad for Justin Fields. But the Lions get the win. So now the Lions are 3-6. The Bears are 3-7. I don't even know what to make of that game. All I thought was poor Justin Fields. What did you think, Title?
I mean, poor Justin Fields. You got outscored 21-6 in the fourth quarter. It's not just the extra point. I understand, but you can still close that game a little better. I mean, Fields has looked. Give Fields all the props in the world. He has definitely looked way better than anyone expected. His surrounding cast is not great. When you're leading receiver, Cole Kmet, there's Byron Pringle, of course, there's Darnell Mooney there. It's just he's not playing with too much talent. He's overachieving for sure. So props to Justin Field. Props to the Lions, though. Dan Campbell, you always talk about a spread. They always are in games. They always fight till the end. Usually they backdoor cover. Now they backdoor get a win. They outscore Bears 21-6 in the fourth quarter. Good execution at the end. Tough for Fields for sure, but that was a good football game. And if you're the Bears, you definitely have a lot to be excited for with Justin Fields right now, which has not been the case the past, decade or something. So good win, 31-30. A lot of points scored in Soldier Field. Justin Fields just keeps printing in DFS.
Tyler, is Fields going to be the first Ohio State quarterback to ever make the top 10 in your quarterback rankings before the end of his career? I'm telling you, man, this guy's pretty good. If he can
learn how to throw the damn ball, he's just taking the RB1 tag from Lamar. I mean, Buddy ran for what?
Kid Lamar turned out to be pretty good.
Throwing the ball?
Lamar's good at throwing the ball.
I mean, do you watch Baltimore Ravens games when all of a sudden, there's 5 passes? It's like, who in the hell was that to?
Yeah. I still like Lamar, and I think Fields can get there as well. So
I mean, yeah, he looked decent, but the thing is the mistakes he makes are game-breaking mistakes. He threw a pick 6 when he panicked in the pocket and just whipped it out there to Okudah. He takes it to the house. And I know you want to blame it on the kicker for mixing the extra point because, they lost by 1. He missed the extra point when they took the lead. Well, then their defense gave up the touchdown to lose the game. So it's on the defense.
I should blame the defense?
Yes, because if the defense would have held, that extra point means nothing. They would have won the game by 6. So you let them score, and then they kick the extra point, and they get out of there with a W. Ross St. Brown looked great on the other side, so that's something you always got to keep an eye on too. Because I think he came in, what was his price title, like $7,600, a lot cheaper than all the other stud receivers, and put up the numbers. So definitely got to keep an eye on him.
Another line that was completely wrong was the New York Giants line against the Houston Texans. I don't understand how one of the worst run defenses in the league. How are the Giants not laying more than 7 in this game? What do you think, Tyler? I know you've been down on the Giants all year.
I will say one thing, Brian Dable, this is what you should have did when you play a team like this. You look at the stats, they're the worst running defense. Don't think about it too hard and just run the damn ball. Saquon ran the ball 35 times, Fred. Mm-hmm. You just kept running at them and just kept running, and there was nothing they could do about it. He ran for $150 and a touchdown. We talked about that on Friday. I said I thought he was going to go for 125 and a touchdown. He got over both of those. So he pounded them into the ground. Yes, Slayton busted that one coverage on Stingley. I don't even think it was really a busted coverage. He caught the ball and Stingley missed the tackle when he took off for the touchdown. So they got the pass play there. But yeah, you just dominated them on the ground. That's all you had to do against this bad run defense. Davis Mills couldn't do much against your defense either. They were blitzing the hell out of him. He threw the one touchdown pass that got called back, and then the next play he throws a pick, so that kind of screwed him. But yeah, Giants look good. Their defense looks good, and they just play the right game. Like, their coach doesn't mess around and try and be too fancy about it. He just does exactly what you're supposed to.
Yeah, Title, other than really just another example of the books making the favorites too short this week, did you have anything from the Giants and the Texans?
The thing that stuck out to me was like Tyler did. Saquon got the ball 35 times. I mean, when you run the ball 35 times with your best player, I mean, that's how you win football games against a Texans team like this. So I'm still not sold on this Giants team. I mean, when your receiving core looks like that and you got to play good football teams in the playoffs, I'm concerned. But yeah, Dable's got the.
We all agree on this panel that Tennessee and the Giants are pretty much the same team, different conference.
I agree. That's how I look at them.
Defense, no receivers, great running game, below average quarterback play.
Got to win low scoring games.
And I hate to say it, but I would even say Daniel Jones is better than what we're getting from Tannehill right now.
Yeah, I'm not arguing that either, but I don't think any of them are good. Like, if there's anything that's a Spider-Man meme where they're pointing at each other, it's those two teams.
All right. The difference is, I would say, at coach. Vrabel's the old school hard ass.
It's just both great coaching on both sides.
It is great coaching, but I think Daboll's better at the offensive development, where Vrabel just knows how to.
Who's better, Vrabel or Tomlin?
You're going to put him in that spot. Those are his two man.
My head just exploded. My brain is buffering right now. You can't do
He's
that.
He's looking at the two pictures behind his computer screen on which side.
Yeah, you can't do this to me. Oh, I can't answer that question. Maybe by the end of the season, I will be able to. But that's a tough one. Vrabel's obviously having the better season. That'll be the way I'll cop out of that one. Let's talk about the Jaguars, who lost to the Chiefs 27-17. I thought they had a chance to cover. Cam Robinson didn't realize it was a pass play. He was in the end zone when Trevor throws the touchdown that would have put them within the covering distance. And, of course, they have to settle for it, the field goal. I don't know, man. We have this conversation every week, and this might be another one we just take off the table. But we had to talk about this game because we have to talk about the Chiefs as a true Super Bowl contender. But Trevor Lawrence, man, it's just – I don't know. Is he ever going to get their title? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not writing him off yet. What? He had the Urban Meyer year. Now he has this year. He's starting to have some receiving core. ETN's young. I'm definitely not writing off Trevor Lawrence yet by any means. The one thing that stuck out to me in this game, and you guys clowned me a little bit for it last week, and it finally came to fruition. I said, Chiefs, you got to get one guy running back. You're not playing three guys, mix them in every other snap to get in a rhythm. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, what? He played 4 snaps all game. Jerick McKinnon didn't play too much. They finally let Pacheco be the guy, which I thought was their best running back as well. The dude is fast. The dude runs hard. He runs downhill. He finishes with power. And that's exactly what the Chiefs need. I mean, they have Mahomes. They got all the guys outside. They need a little inside the trenches, get physical, finish a run over a DB, like make it tough for them. Man, this is what I want to see for the Chiefs. If you're a Chiefs fan, you want one running back. You want it to be Pacheco. Looks like Andy Reid finally cut out Clyde, mixing Jerick McKinnon on third downs, and I think that's a big step for this offense. So that was the big takeaway in this one for me.
Tyler, this game closed at 9.5. It finished at 10. Felt like the books got this one right. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, Chiefs came in, they got the job done. They got Tony involved a little bit. I like how they got him in space, got him the touchdown. But it was pretty much any three of us could have walked in on that touchdown. There was nobody on that side of the field for him to contend with. So he looked good. I want to see him more in play against like a good team. I like how they did get the running back going. But the thing about Pacheco to me is I don't think he's all that good. I don't think any of the three they have are good. So I think at any moment that dude could fumble twice in a big game and cost you a game. So I'm just let Patrick Mahomes keep the ball in his hands. Run the ball like 12 times a game and just let him throw it 55 times. I think that's the best route for them to win. You got the receivers. Kelsey looks great. Hardman will be back. Juju's probably still knocked out because he got picked up off his feet. That was crazy. But, I mean, MVS is going to stretch the field. This team's going to be deep into the playoffs. I think they're going to be the team that does come out of the AFC. I did pencil them in before the year, and I still think they are. So I still think they're AFC champs and possibly Super Bowl champs.
Tyler, I get to victory lap this next game. I told you when TJ Watt came back, Pittsburgh become a different team. They beat the Saints, though. Not necessarily too exciting, but it works for me. The money spends the same, as it was a pretty easy win for me. I like the Steelers here. They were a short money line dog. I will take that. Are they excited out by you, Tyler? Are there a reason for the Yinzers to be excited now that TJ Watt is back in the lineup?
It all depends on who you ask, right? If you ask the delusional people that think this team deserves a playoff spot and they have a chance at the Super Bowl, then yeah. You ask the reasonable people, they'll say they just screwed up their draft stock and they just screwed themselves out of Will Anderson or Javon Carter, which they need on this defense. Yeah, you got TJ Watt back, but now you lose Minka for a month. He's out. So your next best player on defense is out. Yeah, you beat the Saints, but it's the Saints. They're not good. No, I think it's like, yeah, just like you said, the money spent. So the bet won, but I think they screwed themselves in the long run. Like you just shouldn't be winning games at this point.
Yeah, you can't tell Tomlin to lose. What did you think of that game, Title? Did you even watch it? It was pretty lame.
No. I had Kamara and I had a snowflake every single second of that game, so I did not watch it. It was gross. Andy Dalton stinks. Kenny Pickett, I mean, yeah.
Stinks also.
Yeah. I mean.
All right. Before we get to the afternoon slate, let's talk about the game of the year. What the heck was going on in Buffalo? That game was absolutely insane. If you want a reason why the NFL continues to dominate in our attention, in the ratings, right, in the talk of the sport, it's games like that yesterday. That was just absolutely wild there. I could not believe when Josh Allen fumbled the snap in the end zone. I thought for sure they were going to get the safety and that was going to cost the Bills the cover. But for the Vikings to get the win, and I know we say they keep getting lucky, and let's be honest, there was some luck involved yesterday, but now they're 8-1. We talk about it when we're gambling, right? We get lucky. Why? Because we're prepared. So you have to give them credit. Justin Jefferson basically made a stamp that said, I'm the best wide receiver in the league. And I said, hey, buddy, I can't argue. He kind of bailed out Kirk Cousins on that throw, making the best catch that I've seen since Odell Beckham made that one-handed catch on Monday Night Football to really put himself in the limelight so many years ago. Just a back-and-forth game. And then, of course, it looks like Josh Allen's going to take them back down there. In overtime, Patrick Peterson gets his second interception of the day to seal the win for the Vikings. The unlikely win, man. I thought Allen was going to take him down the field. So, Tyler, we got to talk about the Vikings. And tell me about Allen. You were worried that he might be out for the year. What did you see from him yesterday? How much do you think that injury was bothering him?
I mean, he still had zip on the ball, but we're talking about a quarterback who I know he looks good when he's throwing the ball at full health, but he has always had accuracy problems. At any moment, that dude whips the ball, and it's like there wasn't a receiver 10 yards within that ball, and it was picked off. Now you're giving him an elbow injury to the throwing arm. You seen it. He just couldn't zip the ball in there just as good, and the accuracy was even more off, threw a couple picks. As for the other side spread, this team, I know I gave the Giants shit. This teim is just so overrated to me. I just you can't luck into a win.
Jonathan Nelson in the chat.
I'm gonna plant my flag. They're losing their next two games. They play Dallas this week. That's a pass rush that's gonna murder Kirk Cousins. Because any quarterback that when he sees a pass rush coming, just throws the ball and just turns like this and winces already and is screaming because he's about to get hit. He ain't gonna win big games.
Peyton Manning did that.
Peyton Manning will just fall over. And how many? He won one Super Bowl. He ain't doing shit.
Tyler's not going to be watching the Manning cast tonight.
Man. Like they went. I will say they did take the path of exposing Buffalo's weakness. It's their run defense, and Justin Jefferson's going to catch passes on anybody. But this Dallas team, I think, beats them next week. And then they have a primetime game against a New England team. We know that defense is going to be there. They're losing their next 2 games. They're coming back down to earth. Give me Dallas this week.
I love it here. That's what we do here on Talking Touchdowns. We take stands. We either take W's or take L's, but Tyler's taking a stand there, saying the Vikings, the luck is going to run out. They're going to lose their next 2 games. Guys, if you're appreciating this content, give us the thumbs up. Titletown, what did you think of the game of the year, man? That was so exciting.
Oh, it was such a good football game. I mean, how could you not enjoy that one? I mean, the thing that stuck out right away in this one was last week. I mean, Justin Jefferson's my guy. I mean, I've loved him for years and years.
Yeah.
So, I mean, play him all the time. And last week I came on this show and I said, I mean, we at the end of the day, there's a lot of good receivers, but Cooper Kupp is definitely the best receiver in football. Man, Justin Jefferson might have heard what I said, and it's just what an absolute crazy game. I mean, that catch he had, the game should have been over. Like, catch of the year or best catch of all time, someone said in chat. I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's a really, really bold take, a big thing to say, but it was as good as you'll ever see. I mean, and to get that win, when they didn't get the QB sneak, I pretty much thought the game was just over. I was looking away, and the next thing you know, I'm like, oh my goodness. I mean, how often does Josh Allen get stuffed?
I kept my eyes on it because I thought they might have intentionally safetied
the safety. Yeah, no,
and then that would have moved it because it would have gone from 4 to 2, right? And a lot of people were sitting on the 3.
I mean, it was just wild stuff. It was a great football game. As far as, I mean, I'm not as low on the Vikings as Tyler by any means. I've said, I'd be surprised if this team gets to the Super Bowl, all of that. That's still the case. But man, I mean, it's a great win in Buffalo. It was just a great football game. Buffalo collapsed a little bit. I don't know Buffalo is still going to be there at the end of the day. I think the Vikings, the NFC stinks. I mean, look at their record. They're going to get home field advantage. But I think someone does knock them out in the playoffs when we're looking ahead that way. But just a great football game. And the thing with Tyler, last thing.
You think they outlast Philly and get home field advantage?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, they're going to get home field advantage for at least 2 games. I mean, 8-1. I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, I think they lose.
I mean, you obviously don't. Yeah, you obviously don't think. But then they get home field advantage for what 2 games still? If that's the case, then they'd go to Philly.
Most likely, because who else is going to grab
it?
Yeah,
let's say most likely, unless somebody comes blasting up the.
Because
standings.
I think as the division winner, they would get it even if the Giants or the Cowboys had a better record, right?
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, it's
They at least get 1 home game, I'd say.
They for sure. I mean, I'd be shocked if they don't get.
If they don't get 1 home game, this went bad from here.
Yeah, then people aren't even. So, I mean, just a hell of a football game. Justin Jefferson's that guy. But the last thing I was saying, when Tyler said they took advantage of Buffalo's run D, I mean, Dalvin only ran the ball 14 times, and he had that one run that he absolutely broke off. Outside of that, Cousins ran the ball 6 times, Madison 3 times. I mean, Kirk dropped back 50 times in this game. A lot of that was because of the game script. I think in the fourth
they fell down early. Yeah, 27-17 going to the fourth.
Yeah, so they had to, but they didn't run outside that one run play. They didn't run the ball nearly as good as I think they got to get.
You guys see the interception he threw, where the pocket collapsed, he panicked and he just threw to his right, and there wasn't a receiver anywhere near that ball, and there's just a Buffalo guy just standing there. He's like, "Oh, I'll catch that."
I didn't see it.
It was bad.
That was bad. So we'll see how that goes. And I'll tell you what, it gives us great content here on Talking Touchdowns. Go ahead and give us that thumbs up. And we go from the most exciting game, the most inspiring game, to the least inspiring team in the National Football League, the Raiders. What are you doing, Josh McDaniel? So you're telling me that Jeff Saturday is chilling in ESPN Connecticut or whatever, right? Bristol or wherever they are, right? Kicking it with Stephen A., right? Who are all those guys on that show? Michael Irvin, right? Whoever's on I don't watch a lot of ESPN, as you can tell, right? But he flies into Indy, gives some 30-year-old kid a Madden playbook, and then he beats your team at home. What is going on in Las Vegas, man? I'm all for continuity, but I think McDaniels might be done after this year. What another absolutely terrible performance from this Las Vegas Raiders team. I mean, we're just so disappointed out here, me and all the Raiders fans I know, and I'm really down on myself for having high hopes for this team going into the year. I thought, they're coming off a playoff year. They should have got a little better. I like the new defensive coordinator. We got Devontae. He's going to make Derek Carr look really good. Devontae's calling Derek Carr a Hall of Famer. And then we get this crap. Title, what do I do as a Raiders fan? Just sit here and start looking at draft boards?
Tell Foster Moreau to freaking catch that ball, and my money is a lot different. I have a lot more money in my pocket than I did.
Oh, yeah. He was chalking cash too, wasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I had him on both sides, though, but he was less indulgent, that's for sure, and I didn't need much, so that's the thing that stands out in this one to me. I mean, I don't know. How did spread? You asked me a couple of weeks ago, like, what do we do with McDaniel? And I said, you let him play out the year. You don't get a new coach midseason again and do all that. You see if they start making steps of improvements, team bonds around him, all that. That all is lost. I mean, he's got to go at the end of the year. I mean, there's nothing that even like any hope that I.
What does he do? Just go back to Bill?
I mean, I don't go.
Is he like the kid that moved out and got to move back to his parents' house because he can't pay the bills?
Come call the offensive plays in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, he can. I mean, he can go to the beach and enjoy his time there and watch football on Sundays like us too. He can do whatever. He can do whatever he wants.
Wonder if he'll get up for the 6:30 game.
Yeah, not be a head football coach is what I'll say. I mean, this team had so much promise coming into the year, and it's as bad as it gets.
Tyler, do we need to bet Jeff Saturday Coach of the Year?
No, hell no. Remember the trend we found spread? The Vegas effect.
Oh, yeah.
After facing the Raiders in Vegas the following week, 6-16 against the spread. The last 7, 0-7. Colts plus 7.5 against Philly next week. When I seen the matchup, I was like, God, I hate that because I think Philly's weak point in their defense is the run defense. Mm-hmm. And Jonathan, it looks like Jeff Saturday is going to do what he wanted to do, and Peyton Manning was screaming at him on the sideline, and that's run the damn ball. So they're going to let Jonathan Taylor just run the hell out of the ball. I think that could be bad for Philly next week, but I'm going to follow that trend, and I'm going to be on Philly minus 7.5 next week, and maybe even get a better number after tonight if that number drops a bit. So like that, the Raiders thing, though, spread, I think after the season, you ship Derek Carr out to one of these teams that needs a quarterback that doesn't have a high enough draft pick. Maybe a Saints team. They don't have draft picks, really. I don't think Winston is their guy. They're not going to think Dalton's the guy. They might just say, screw it, take our next couple picks, and we'll take Derek Carr for a few years.
Yeah.
So I'd trade him, draft one of the top quarterbacks coming out, just accumulate picks.
We need Houston to get some wins so I can get that Bryce Young kid. He seems so much better than all the other prospects.
No, you just need to pray to God that they take the Ohio State kid and somebody loves Will Levis, who is going to blow someone's draft.
Nobody's going to take CJ Stroud over Bryce Young.
They might spread because Bryce Young's only coming in at $185. He's a small guy. A lot of guys are going to look at him and be like, wow, you're smaller than Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
So
Speaking of Kyler Murray, he didn't play, but the Cardinals got the win over the Rams. Tyler, you've been calling this for a while. You said the Rams they're trying to build like an NBA team. It just doesn't work. You need the draft picks, you need the depth, and everything that you said has come to fruition so far this season. Neither starting quarterback played. When we do power rankings tomorrow night, I'm going to just throw this game out. Did you have anything to talk about it?
No, I mean, our breakdown in the playbook, I even said that's a very simple breakdown here. It's looking like neither starting quarterback's going to play, leaving Wofford and McCoy on the field. Small lean to the Cardinals side because McCoy has more of the NFL experience. He played couple games last year. Mm-hmm. He's already knows how to play in this system. It was pretty much all the same guys, too. He stepped in. He got the job done. The Rams lost Cooper Kupp for, it says, extended time now, so we're going to fade him even more now because now who the hell are they throwing the ball to?
Yeah, Van Jefferson season. Title, anything about the Rams, or do you want to move on to your favorite team?
2 backup quarterbacks. I'm good.
Yeah, the Green Bay Packers got it done against the Dallas Cowboys. And if you wanted to take the Packers, your only reason to take them in the handicap would have been because it's the NFL and nothing ever makes sense, right? It's never that easy. I was worried about the Cow. So this is another one where I felt like the line was a little bit too short, but I did pull the trigger on this one. So, hey, now as the season's going, maybe my instincts are getting better. I just didn't want to get involved in this game. Aaron Rodgers did it, although it took a little bit of luck and it took a little bit of bad coaching from the guy, Mike McCarthy, and you could see how pissed he was. You know that both him and Aaron wanted that game with that little personal rivalry they had. But Title, you're a Packers fan. You got the win. What did you see yesterday? Is there hope for the rest of the season in Green Bay?
Yeah, Bill Miner was talking about it in chat a little, how he had a gut feeling. And I mean, I was sitting in the sauna Sunday morning. I almost hammered the Packers. I ended up not, but I was like, man, if all games, it's a must win. You cannot lose. You cannot lose this game. Drop to 3-7, and your whole season's over. Mike McCarthy's coming in town. We all know that the stuff between Rodgers and Mike, how bad of a coach Mike McCarthy is. Packers at home in Lambeau. It's getting a little chilly. Like, everything just set up for this is a Packer spot. Now, why I didn't end up firing is because they've just looked so bad all year.
Yeah, it's like, tough, man, right?
Am I really gonna back up the truck and load up on the Packers? So I was like, I'll just watch the game and enjoy it. But man, I mean, yes, the Packers did get a little lucky. I mean, that you need a little luck to go. But Aaron Jones ran the football very well. A.J. Dillon ran the football well. Christian Watson finally ended up showing up. They were without Romeo Doubs as well. We needed a player like Watson to step up. The defense played all right. I mean, yeah, CD went off. Tony Pollard went off. They had their plays, but Dak, 27 for 46. He had 2 interceptions. Didn't throw the ball very well. They're without Rashawn Gary, too. I mean, the Packers got beat up with injuries, which was part of the reason I also didn't bet them this week, is they were decimated with injuries last week. And they played a decent football game at the end of the day. Now, how much you upgrade them in your power rankings, I mean, I wouldn't move them too much at the end of the day. I think this was a spot, like I said, everything lined up. They needed this win. It was Mike McCarthy coming in town, at home, cold game, 405. Like, it just all lined up for him, I thought. So it's a good win. They needed it for sure. Their chances aren't dead. I don't know what their playoff chances or stuff is right now. But, man, I mean, this is just a completely different Packers team. Rodgers dropped back 20 times. When's the last time you've seen Rodgers drop back 20 times and the game go to overtime? Just a run-first team, try and get it third and manageable, try and bleed the clock, your defense get some stops. It's not the same Packers team that used to. So we'll take the win, any win against Mike McCarthy.
I love what you said there, because that's my main takeaway from this game. You're in Green Bay. We don't need to play a high-flying offense that you play down in Miami, right? It's like they finally embraced the style of play that their stadium and where they're located in America is going to lend itself to. Dominate the line of scrimmage, run the ball. You got Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. You have weapons. They're just not on the outside. Tyler said don't overreact, but I want to upgrade this team when we're doing our power rankings tomorrow. What are your thoughts here? Am I overreacting? Am I just getting a little too hyped that they basically, had the perfect situation and they took advantage of it?
No, I mean, they did have a nice situation. Like, if you looked at our playbook before the week and the kickoffs of these games, the way it finished up, it says one big trend to have your eye on here if you like the Dallas side. This Packers team has defended Lambeau pretty well, going 16-4 straight up last 20, while the Cowboys are 1-8 straight up last 9 in their matchups versus the Packers. Rosters and coaches have changed a ton since a lot of these matchups, but it just might be the Packers have their number. At such a low number, I want to bite on this Cowboys team, but history is telling me this is a trap spot of the week where Green Bay is going to show up and play a decent game. Well, they showed up. They got the W, and I'm glad we stayed off of that one spread. It always seemed like a weird game when you looked at the line. Title said it best. It was against an old coach. Their guys did their job. They got out with a win. So kudos to Green Bay, but maybe a slight upgrade to them. Nothing crazy. I'm glad to see Watson's finally playing well, though. That's what I thought that kid was going to be. He got the deep ball week 1. He couldn't hold on to it. And he showed up this week. He caught that one, got into the end zone, then caught the second touchdown, and then he even got a third one. So he had 3 touchdowns, 100-some yards. It was great to see. Pretty sure he only had like 4 catches, though. I think I only seen him catch a slant on the other pass. So it seems like he's going to be the deep ball or bust guy. But, hey, got the job done this week.
Yeah, and if you guys didn't know, Tyler was reading straight from the NFL playbook. That's something that we've added this year on the bet side. Tyler, we've seen how much the playbook helps the members over there on the DFS side. And we said, hey, it's great to be able to provide picks for the people. And, of course, you can get all the daily picks on, the picks page. But let's give them a little more insight into what we do. And also, what do you do if the line moves, right? What if I have – Packers -3 on the sheet and you log on and now it's -5, right? Well, you can see actually what we projected it at and how much the edge was. So that's what we're doing there with the playbook. So if you're a member, make sure you're checking that out. Tyler and I put a lot of work into it, and we're really proud of what we've been able to do. The NBA playbook's just been on fire, Tyler, with our RPB tags. So, we hope we're using it. I know on Friday night, someone just jumped on there, said, hey, I want to degen a little, grabbed the 3 RPB tags, parlayed them, and got a great parlay hit. So if you're a member, make sure you're checking that out. And if you're not a member, head on over to runpuresports.com. Join in all the winning ways. It's just been a great year. I mean, Tyler, could it be any better? It just feels like every single week I'm getting numb to the screenshots, Title. It's like I'm expecting them now.
Yeah, it's been really, really. It would be personally, it would have been a little better if your guy Foster Moreau caught it with his hands and not his mouthpiece. So it would have been a little better. But It's been a great year for sure. Another showdown chipper yesterday, like 35,000. It's awesome stuff. And yeah, speaking of your playbook quick, because it's pretty new, I checked it out. Like I said, I think it was like a month ago or something when it was a Sunday night game. I wanted to degen a little bit, pulled up the Run Pure playbook, and man, I looked at all those breakdowns. You guys do a great job, and that definitely takes a lot of time. You guys it looks like the same amount of writing I do in the MMA playbook, which takes a lot of time. So I know how much you guys grind on that. And I hope members are looking at it. Even if you don't agree with the side or something, just seeing your breakdown, maybe talk you off a bet you were going to make. I think it's a very good resource. So great job with that.
All right. Yeah. Thank you for that. And guys, if you're liking this video, hit the thumbs up. And we're going to talk about the Sunday night game. Tyler, you know how much I enjoyed that one, right? Watching my guy Jimmy G out-duel the young gun, Justin Herbert, get the win. We won't mention how much better San Francisco's weapons are, but Jimmy G got the win over Justin Herbert. What did you see last night in that game? Oh, but he didn't cover.
What I saw was nothing because I was deep in sleep. It was a very long weekend. I cannot remember the last time I was
I've done that before. I've fallen asleep at halftime in some of these Sunday night games.
Oh, I didn't even watch a second of that game. I was on the
I
Saturday
had the afternoon nap to help empower me through. I said, I don't need to watch the Raiders. I'll wake up and watch the end, and it was exactly what I expected.
Yeah, Friday night was pretty long. Saturday, the pay-per-view went very long. I didn't get into bed until late. Early Sunday morning, and by the time it came by Sunday night, I was toast. So I did not watch 1 second of this game. When I got my lineups in, there's no NBA news. My lights were out. So I woke up. I saw Jimmy G got the win. I knew Fred was going to say something about it. And I was going to say, unfortunately, I do not know how he did it all. So, hey, good for you, Fred. He got the win. But Tyler probably did watch it, so we can go to him.
Tyler, do you want to talk about the greatness of Jimmy Garoppolo?
He didn't look all that great. That was just an ugly football game.
When does he ever look great is my question. When is
Jimmy
G, I agree there. But he hit Ayuk for a couple good passes. I had Ayuk as a captain in one of my lineups just because it lets you stuff a bunch of other guys in there. And he was crawling towards the end zone on that one play before he got tackled on the one. So that kind of sucked for me. But then CMC got the touchdown, so it worked out for the other lineups. Man, I thought San Fran was going to be a lot better with their weapons back. It was the first game back for Debo off the injuries with all the other guys. Mitchell came back, had 18 carries, which is big. This team's going to be really good once they get everything together. It might take a few weeks. But yeah, this is probably my favorite in the NFC. I think we're getting a rematch from a few years ago. I think it's going to be the Chiefs. I think it's going to be the Niners. And I think that's going to be your Super Bowl this year.
Wow. All right. I like to hear that. I'd love to see my guy Jimmy G in the Super Bowl again. And Title's thinking, I hope this team loses. I'm so tired of this joke. This guy's just going to run the joke into the ground. This is my Call of Duty Kyler Murray joke, okay? I'm just going to keep hammering it. So I hope you guys don't give me the thumbs down. Don't take away your like just because of that. That is it for the breakdown, which means we got about a good 15-20 minutes to talk about tonight. Tyler, you and I will start with the side and the total here as the Philadelphia Eagles are hosting the Commanders. I think they've taken a ton of money all week. It seems like this line was a lot lower earlier this week. I'm logging back in. It logs you out on Bookmaker if you're too inactive. So I had it up for the NBA rundown. Let me relog back in and see exactly what number we're getting offshore right now. Yeah, -11. I swore this was like 7.5 or 8 earlier this week. At 11, I guess it's a little tempting, right? The Texans covered the 14 last week against the Eagles on prime time. Now you get another big number. Taylor Heineke, the Commanders. You think they should be fired up. It is a division game, but boy, these Eagles are good. Tyler, what do you expect here from this game? Are you surprised by the line move, and how are you going to approach it?
I mean, I'm not going to touch the side. If anything, if the only thing I could bet in this game was the side, I'd probably just hold my nose and take the Eagles. I just don't trust this Washington team, especially against a defense like the Eagles. Like, the teams that are going to take advantage of the Eagles are going to be teams that can run the ball. I don't think Washington can run the ball. I don't care if it's Robinson. I don't care if it's Gibson. I just don't trust the offensive line to push those guys back. So the only path to beating them would be through the air. Well, their secondary is the strong point. They're not going to be able to throw on this defense either. And Philly can beat them either way on the other side. A.J. Brown could have a big game. They could run it down their throat. I don't see Hurts running the ball much. I think it's more of a passing game here. I think they want to keep him healthy. Why run him against a Washington team when you need him the rest of the year? You're looking like Super Bowl contenders. I know a lot of people think they're overrated, but at 8-0, that team in their head, they got to be thinking Super Bowl. So you got to keep your guys healthy. I think he throws a ton more here. Over 1.5 touchdowns at even money. I like that for him to throw 2 touchdowns. I like the A.J. Brown touchdown and Philly money line. You're getting that at about plus 150. And I also like if you wanted to go to Devontae Smith, his touchdown and win is sitting at plus 240. If you even thought he throws one to the tight end, Goddard in the touchdown in the money lines plus 260. That'd be some ways I'd come at this game instead of the spread.
All right, Title. Interesting perspective here because the game script that Tyler laid out, I think is going to be a pretty popular game script when people are creating their lineups tonight. How do we approach this? It feels like the Eagles are going to be good chalk once again, but we have to worry about ownership. What are your thoughts here on the Eagles and the Commanders?
Yeah, so I was listening to Tyler trying to have him pick a game script a little bit. He said if he had to pick a side, he'd hold his nose, go Philly, which is minus 11. If Philly's winning more than 11, I'm going to say that Miles Sanders is the reason why. You get up early in this game. You don't have to drop Jalen Hurts back a ton. You don't have to have him run a lot. Of course, Hurts is going to be the mega chalk. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, all of those are great plays, but picking a game script is the most important in Showdown. Let's just say the Eagles get out heavy, get out early. Miles Sanders is the reason why. He rushes for over 100 yards. He falls in the box twice, kind of like Kenny and Drake did that way. Plug him at captain. You don't even need to play the chalkiest Jalen Hurts on the slate, which is very, very scary fade. Then you can play anything and feel comfortable with that. How I'd go on the other side.
Wait, hold on. Are you leaving Jalen Hurts out of this lineup?
Yeah, if I'm playing Miles Sanders captain, I am not playing Jalen Hurts.
Don't you think even like the script I laid out, you couldn't see them throwing for 3 touchdowns in the first half, similar to how they did Pittsburgh, and just the receivers are the guys that house them, and instead of a Sanders, it's a Gainwell in say the second half because they're just up so much.
No, I like Gainwell as well. Either if I'm going like an A.J. Brown, a Jalen Hurts, I mean, we're talking about all these guys are going to be very popular. The passing game is going to get the exposure. Like Miles Sanders. Again, it's very early right now. I do not see him getting a lot of ownership. So the Brown, Devontae, Hurts, the passing game's getting it. And it's pretty easy to talk yourself into a unique roster construction, an 11-point favorite that they're going to run the football and get up early. That's the only thing that stuck out to me. Yeah, if you want to go Brown, Devontae, all that, I think Gainwell would be the running back I do throw in that team. If I'm playing Miles Sanders captain, though, I am not playing Jalen Hurts. He's going to be 90% owned. That's where you get all your leverage on the slate right there. If I'm going that script, I like Antonio Gibson. J.D. McKissick is not, he's hurt. Brian Robinson is not a passing down back. If they're down, it's just a passing situation. It's going to be Antonio Gibson in every single snap. He'll take dump downs, full point PPR. I think he's a very strong play in that way. Whereas if you think this game stays closer, then you can go Eagles passing game. Then you go Brian Robinson instead of Antonio Gibson, because if this game stays close, somehow Washington leads this game, he's going to be the guy I expect to get most of the work that way. So that's how I'd go with the Gibson and Brian Robinson stuff. Gibson is my preferred because I do like the Miles Sanders captain. And then I'll just throw A.J. Brown in that core. So Sanders, captain, A.J. Brown, and Antonio Gibson. The reason for A.J. Brown is it's still a PPR site. I still think he can fall in the box. No one in this Washington secondary can stop him. His target share is like 30%. So he lands in the box.
Do you have projected ownerships on captains yet or no?
No. But what's your guess?
All I've seen all morning is everyone talking about Devontae Smith, and then other guys wanted to talk about Hurts. Do you have any idea what A.J. Brown's going to come in at? Because I just want to plug him in there
and captain
Hurts.
I think he'll be like
fade Smith and get Goddard and a running back and then go from there.
I just don't think that'll be different. I think A.J. Brown will still be like 15%. One of the highest owned captains on the slate for sure.
Okay.
I think that Devontae Smith will be one of the highest. I think Jalen Hurts. It looks like how I'm looking at pricing, looks like everyone's just going to be going Philly passing game, and then you run it back with either cheap Washington pieces because obviously it's the Eagles guys are very expensive, or you throw in one of the running backs from Washington and then you just get cheap different. I think Smith, A.J. Brown, and Jalen Hurts will be the three chalkiest guys on the Eagles side, and Goddard you can throw in there as well. That's why the Sanders thing just makes so much sense as 11-point favorite to me.
Yeah, I got you. Then he does any love for the defense. They looked expensive as shit to me when I looked at them.
And that which makes me like them even more because they are that expensive, which will keep ownership way down. And I don't love defenses normally, but because Washington it can be prone to a lot of mistakes. If they are up by so much, like a Miles Sanders build, captain build, they're up 21. They're just dropping back and throwing every possession. You have so many opportunities. That's what you want for your defense. So I like them even more because they are way too expensive, which will keep the ownership down. If they were 4, 5, or 5K, I like them way less because they'd be ownership. So that's how you got to approach tournaments.
Gotcha.
You like Gibson more than Curtis Samuel?
Yeah, I do.
I'm with him on that one too.
Because the McKissick being sideline, and if you think they're trailing all game, like dump down. Maybe even they get it to the 2-yard line. They have a good late game drive, and he's just in the game there, and he gets a garbage touchdown that way. I like Gibson a lot.
All right. Love to hear that there. Here on Talking Touchdowns, a great way to build. And Tyler, we're hoping to get another big win for you tonight. But which captain do you want to go for? I've just made a lineup going off titles build there. Do you agree with the Miles Sanders, or are you going to go a different direction?
I'm going A.J. Brown. I just think it's the pass game here. I think it's going to be Hurts throwing the ball. I like his over 1.5 passing touchdowns. There ain't a soul on that team that can cover A.J. Brown. And I also see all the Devontae Smith love because this was the team he blew up on earlier in the year. Mm-hmm. I think he might come in a little lower owned than expected. I just got to take him here.
All right. Well, you're going to have to use the Run Pure site to find the value to make sure you get different, but we will see how that one turns out tonight. So there you have it. Title. Are you going to degen a little bit on this side or total tonight? -11 on a total of 43.
If Foster Moreau caught the ball with his hands and I had some extra money to dabble with, yeah. But now that I'm broke, I think I got to stay away.
Got to blame the Raiders on that one.
Yeah,
Foster, I'm just going to keep going back to him.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I can't even argue. So, all right, there you.
I mean, they win that football game if he catches it with his hands. What was he doing?
It's pretty much the season in a nutshell. How many have we had of that? Devontae Adams, right? He had a big bobble one game. The game against Arizona, we had so many chances to put it away. Sometimes things aren't going right, and it all comes down to the coach, right? You kept bringing that up on it earlier, right? These close games comes down to coaching. Yeah, because
I seen Uncle T say in the chat title, you were dreaming about the Izzy KO.
Yeah, that was
Don't tell me, man. Were you on him in that fight?
But I was on Izzy, but going into I was way under for Diaz. I thought it was going to be
I seen your breakdown,
decision, which was looking like that. But I did going into that 5th round because I was with all my buddies. They're like, this fight's over, all that.
Like, no,
Pereira made a great. The first half of that fight, Pereira dropped round 4 to get his breath back, and I said going into round 5, I'm like, this is going to be a Leon stuff. Like he is still so dangerous. He was walking him back the whole time. And I was like, dang, I didn't look at the live betting situation, but I was like, this is really, really bad for Izzy because he only takes one shot. He got hurt once, and that was all she wrote. What a fight.
See him try to say he was all right, like he was still lucid while he was trying to stay on his feet. Like he was about to leave you stiff on the ground if he hit you one more time.
Yeah, that was a good stoppage.
I agree.
All right. Yeah, then everyone blames the coach when Moreau drops the ball. Yeah. I mean, that's what we do, right? For teams, I'm very objective. Well, maybe not the Steelers, but for 30 teams in the NFL, well, maybe not Garoppolo. But for at least 25 of these teams, I'm really objective, right? But when it comes to my team, I do slip into fan mode. So hey, you got me there, extra sauce. That is a bad take on my part. But culture matters. Setting the tempo of expectations matters. And when things start to go bad and steamroll, right? I mean, that's what happens. So, all right, there you have it. Talking touchdowns, another one in the book. We hope that you guys enjoyed it. And we will be back next week, hopefully celebrating another big 5-digit cash there for one of the two guys on the panel. I'll be looking forward to seeing how this goes. Titletown, any words of wisdom before we get out of here?
We got NBA today. We got NFL today. Mondays, Thursdays, Sundays. Anytime you get both of the alpha sports, it's always going to be a great night. So check out the Showdown show. Check out the rundown you guys did talking NBA. We have this show talking NFL. We have the Hardwood show I'll be on talking NBA, Up to Lock show. So much content. Run Pure Bets and Run Pure Sports. A lot of money to be made today. So even if you had a bad day like myself yesterday, it's always another day to get it back. And today's a great day. So excited to watch some NFL and NBA tonight.
Hopefully we'll get another clip out of this show this week on the Core Report too. So
yeah, and I'm hoping Tyler runs
I love seeing it on there. That was so much fun. So I'm counting on you guys. We'll do it again. All right. Thank you everyone for joining us. This has been Talking Touchdowns Run Pure.